Hi BC, how you doing? This is Christian down here in Santiago, Chile, and I'm going to try to add my 2 cents to this cool thread that was started by Josh at the flip side when he was talking about the introduction or the bands you need to know or about hair metal. That derogatory term that was created by I don't know whom to categorize all these bands that had some things in common, that they share the same time of a sound, kind of, yeah, and obviously the look they all had, and that's why they were put under that banner, hair metal. Of course, you can argue that all bands have, all musicians, most of them have hair in their on the hair, on the head, or I don't know, they will all be bald metal, but I think this derogatory term it was mostly trying to classify, categorize, put this label to all the bands that share something in common. What I think it's that thing in common is mostly the song structure. They're all catchy tunes, well created, uh, well, they were all very melodic. They shared chorus versus chorus, catchy licks, great guitar work by usually a guitar hero and a singer that's the focal point of most of the bands, the focal point of the band. A good-looking guy that's very appealing to the female audience. That I think record labels discovered as a big market back in the day, and they can be added to the equation and buying more records and make these bands big with big tours and big everything, and they would eventually help the band be bigger, sell more records, and make a good profit to the record label. So that's why I think this was created, and this started to grow with the first band that were that initiate this type of music. I don't think about it as a type of music, but developed mostly in the early 80s in Los Angeles and other big markets in the States. And of course, it got out of control with when the record labels found out this was a gold mine, and they can pull out the bands from all over the place. Sometimes create bands or made lesser known bands or bands with no talent, trying to use them and to create a one hit wonder that can make them sell millions of records, and that's how we end up having many of these bands that eventually had no talent, and that's one of the things that helped. I think this type of music being so put away, being so criticized, being so ridiculous, put as a joke by many bands in the early 90s, like the crunch and thrash, all the harder age, that they didn't want to be involved or even share record labels or share stages with these bands. So I'm going to show most of things that I think you have already seen already. Just, of course, the big names from back in the day, and some other bands that made some slight changes to adapt to this look, and then realized it was not the thing for them, and then change it back. I think one of the biggest bands, of course, in this type of music is Motley. This is um, Theater of Pain, one of the most glammiest hair metal era of the band. Here they, of course, they had a more lighter sound, more poppier, more commercial sound, and that helped of course, to invigorate this type of music, and of course help them to be even bigger. Another big band from back in the day is, of course, Dokken. This is Tooth and Nail. Of course, Quiet Riot had to be added to the equation. Another, of course, big bands from like they, even though they had a harder edge on their first albums, they it kind of softened a little bit with, of course, with their last album, Love Is for Soccer. But this is one of their harder, heaviest album they had, Under the Blade. Sorry, Under the Blade. And of course, two of the biggest bands from this type of music. I don't have any Poison. That would be the obvious choice, and other bands from that era. But I think Warrant is the band, most of the poster child from that era. I think they are the runner-ups in this type of music, along with Poison. Also, White Line, not with this one, but with sorry, but this one, the first one. You have a really a pretty boy singer in Mike Trapp, a guitar hero, and in Vito Bratta. You get the idea. And of course, some other bands that were added can be added to this equation, not because they were hair metal glam, but they kind of change their sound to adapt to this type of music, and then they realize it's not what they wanted. For example, Judas Priest. This is their glammiest album. This is Turbo from '86. You can tell by the use of synthesized things in the music. They went for a more commercial sound, and even though and also if you see the pictures from this era, from these two, you can tell they were going for a more glamorous look, and even more I don't know, appealing look as to the big audiences. Also, these guys, when they changed singer in the mid '80s, they changed their iconic singer, and they went for a more I don't know, another type of sound of the band, except with Eat the Heat and Dave Reese replacing Udo Dirk Schneider, and also a band that had more AC/DC sound. They like Crocus. This is Metal Rendezvous, and they went for a more lighter sound here with a change of address. You have two CDs, sorry, one record and one cassette. And also another type of bands that, as I was saying, they didn't have that look, but they were put under this label, even though it doesn't fit exactly what they were sounding or looking like Skid Row or Tesla, until they had a kind of a same look with big puffy hair, but not wearing heavy makeup or tight spandex or flashy clothes. And even some classic bands from the early new wave of British heavy metal, like of course Def Leppard. This is their hair metal album, in my opinion. And some big bands also from later '80s, of course, Guns N' Roses. You can tell they were looking very glammy here. I'm not going to show the other side because it's the censor one. And also some bands from out of the states, like X from Canada, and even a later band from Europe, DAT, with their more hard rock, glammy hair metal album. This is No Fuel Left for the Pilgrims. You can tell they were looking very appealing to the female audience. And also, I like to mention this legendary band that I think they created the blueprint for these bands, because they have the guitar hero, they have a flashy singer, a flashy vocalist. It was one of the focal points for the band, and I think they made the blueprint for the rest of the bands, and they teach how to perform on stage and have a good show with and also having great songs along their career, and it's Van Halen. I think you can deny Van Halen can also be fit in this hair metal style of music, or label, if you want to put it that way, because I think they created this type of this la- they created this type of music, and I think not intentionally, because I think that's what they were going after. Of course, this one is more popular. It has the heavy use of keyboards by Eddie Van Halen, but you still have a good guitar work. You have great songs, catchy tunes, good melodies, and now you added a more glammy look with, of course, David Lee Roth not having, of course, the shirt, the hair or sprayed up with hair blowers, and Eddie also looking more appealing to the female audience, and the rest of the guys trying to do whatever they can. But I think Van Halen had to be added to this discussion, because their influence and their blueprint in this type of music is undeniable. So that's it. Guys, I hope you like my entry. Of course, I'm not showing anything different here. I did not pick up some rat that I have over there. I was thinking about showing some scorpions from that era that can also be added to this discussion. Of course, also Ozzy had some glamier era during the Ultimate Scene. Another one, very hair metal with all the puffy hair. Also Ozzy was really bloated in that era, and some other bands that you have already seen. Well, that's more than I think 12 minutes is more than enough. You understand my point of view from this part of the world. You have to understand that back in the day we did not have many access to MTV or radio, so we were getting things as we can from many different type of sources, like trying to get videos that were dubbed on VH tapes, getting magazines, and trying to absorb all this music. That for us it was good music. That was the main thing for us. Back in the day, we didn't have all these categories that are today. This small subgenre that when they put music, we only knew good music and bad music, and I think that's the thing at the end of this thread of this discussion is either like good music or you like bad music. I think that's the main thing after all. Well, that it's all I would like to add. This is Cristian Tangin in Santiago, Chile, saying goodbye till next time. See ya.